for a closer look at Pope Leo's papacy so far, what is signaled to the world and what lies ahead, our own Montse Alvarado recently spoke with our Vatican analyst.
And we're happy to bring on Edward Pentin, Vatican Analyst for EWTN News and senior contributor to the National Catholic Register. Edward, it's great to be with you. Now, these first 100 days of Pope Leo, what are your thoughts on the new Supreme Pontiff and this American, the Pope of the Americas, they say, but we know where he was born?
Yes. Well, yes, it's been a very interesting time so far, Montse. Of course, we don't know much about Pope Leo so far because he hasn't had to take many key decisions. I think these are going to come in the autumn. He's going to make some key appointments and so forth. But what we are seeing is very much a change of approach compared to Francis. He's very much somebody who wants to bridge gaps, build peace, build unity in the church particularly. But not only there, we've seen him trying to build peace in the world as well. He's spoken a lot about bringing peace to Gaza and Ukraine and Russia.
Absolutely. And I think the second word you use, unity, is also something that has been a really big theme in a lot of his writings and a lot of what he's shared in his catechesis. Well, do we know where he's going to live? It's been 100 days. He's obviously been in the same place where he was before he became a pope. Then he came out to Castel Gandolfo. He's there now. What are we going to see in terms of where he decides to actually rest his head for the rest of his pontificate?
Well, there was talk, Monsieur, I think probably about 2 months ago, that he was going to move into the Apostolic Palace, but they're currently renovating it, I believe, ready for him to move in. So the expectation is that he will move in there in the coming weeks or months. I thought it should have been done by now, but of course, Rome goes very much on holiday in the summer, and I think things are probably being put on hold during the summer. But once the autumn comes, I think we may see him move there.
Now, then Cardinal Prevost was known in Rome. He was obviously someone that was very familiar to bishops, to cardinals. How has he changed in these 100 days? Obviously, the grace of office has to have some kind of effect.
Yes, I think, well, the thing is, he was a bit of an unknown quantity even before, for many years leading up to the election of him as Pope. So there's still a lot that wasn't known. He's somebody who has been said a lot that he plays his cards very close to his chest. So we don't really know what he was like. But we do know that when he was bishop in Peru, that he had a good reputation. He was very well loved. He was somebody of peace and unity. And so I think we're seeing that replicate as Pope now. So I think there's not really much of a change, it seems, to how he was as a bishop. But well, as I say, we'll see. We'll know more in the coming weeks.
We'll be looking for that, of course. Well, this week you wrote in the Register that the Pope's devotion to Mary is raising hopes that he might proclaim a fifth Marian dogma. Are those hopes well-founded? Tell us, what is it that you found?
Yes, well, this is a thesis, and I think he backed it up with some strong evidence. Dr. Mark Miravalli, who teaches at Franciscan University in Steubenville, and he's very much of the view that because Leo is very much a Marian Pope, he has a great devotion to Mary, that there is a good chance that he could proclaim a fifth Marian dogma, which has been petitioned for many years by all kinds of figures in the church leaders and the laity, which is really to proclaim Mary as co-redemptrix, mediatrix of all graces, and an advocate for humanity. And so there is this expectation, or perhaps hope, that he will proclaim that. But certainly he has a strong Marian devotion, in common, in fact, with Leo XIII, who also was very strong in his devotion to Our Lady. And so certainly that's going to be, I think, another hallmark of his pontificate. And it's very, I think people find it very touching that he does rely on Our Lady very much, and he does talk about basically depending on her protection, on her guidance during this time as Pope. So I think we're going to see more of that going forward.
And like you said, more of the same from the start of his pontificate when he stepped out on the loggia and sang the Salve Regina, an incredibly touching moment.
Indeed.
Well, thank you so much,
Yes,
Edward.
indeed.
It's great
Yes.
to be with you.
Thank you, Montse. Good to be with you.